Welcome to this, the first of 3 videos on recursion using Python. My name's Andy Wicks and I'm going to start with some good news. You've already met recursion. A while loop is recursive because it has the 2 basic features of recursion: a base case, the condition in the while, and a recursive step in the body of the while. So for example, if we have a list of names and we want to print out those before a specific one, well, we could use code like this. As you can see, we start with a list of names. There are 6 names here, and we're going to be looking for Nguyen. What we want is our program will print out, in this case, the names that come before Nguyen. So we're looking for Nguyen and we're going to set our counter equal to 0. Now comes the while loop, and the while loop has 2 conditions that allow it to end. If I is less than the length of the list of names, then it will continue. If the name that we're looking at the moment is not the one we're looking for, then it will continue. Both of those conditions have to be true for it to continue. If it continues, it will print the current name. It will then bump up the counter that we're using, called I, by 1. So next time round, the while loop is looking at a different name. The length of the list will stay the same, but the name it's looking at will change, and that is then compared to looking for. And so it keeps going round. Now let's see what happens when we run this piece of code. As you can see down the bottom here, we get the 4 names that happen before Nguyen. And in that way, we're getting the while loop to stop before we hit the name that we're looking for. Now this is recursion. It's recursive because it has the 2 main features of recursion. It has a base case, in this case that the length of the names list is less than the number I'm looking at, and that the name currently being looked at is not the one I'm looking for. That's the base case. If either of those conditions is not met, then the while loop will terminate. And it also has the recursive step. In this case, I plus equals 1, because this is how we change the one we're looking at the moment, and therefore we have the recursive step that moves us on to the next item in the list, and that's the way the list can be processed. So here what we've got is a recursive piece of code. However, there's rather more to recursion than this. A while loop is recursive, but there are other forms of recursion, and the main one is functional recursion, which we'll be looking at in the next 2 videos. But the thing to take away from this video is that you've got to have a base case, a situation where the loop will stop, and you've got to have a recursive step, a way of getting to the condition that makes the loop stop. You need to have both of those.